Assalamualaikum and very good day. I bid to our lecturer, Dr. Noor Ehsan, and to all my fellow colleagues. So we are from Group 5. I'm going to present to you a presentation on Task 4 as one of the requirements in this subject, bilingualism and second language teaching. So before I start the presentation, allow me to introduce our group member. My name is Muhammad Sobri. I'm the first speaker. The second speaker is Catherine Ivan Kehin. After that, Hifzan will continue as the third speaker. The next speaker is Genevieve, and last but not least, Yong Hua Ying as our last speaker for this presentation. So our presentation is divided into few parts, explaining on the proposed model of bilingualism. So this presentation is expected to last about 20 to 30 minutes. So without further ado, let me start by introducing the topic. So in this presentation or in this project, we are using Assure models as our guide in developing our proposed model. The Assure model is a guideline for planning and conducting instructions that uses media. So the model is a tribute to Henrik, Moderna, Russell, and Smaldino from Instructional Media and Technologies for Learning. The Assure model has 6 steps represented by the acronym in its title and described as a set of tasks central to the informed selection and use of education technology. The tasks are analyze learners, state objectives, select media and materials, utilize media and materials, require learners' participation, evaluate and revise. All right, so next, moving on to the next slide. So this is the model that we introduced. So this model, as you can see, is modeling very closely Assure models by Smaldino. This Assure model is an instructional guide to planning and conducting lessons that aim to integrate media and technology while focusing on the learner's need. The model focuses on the emphasizing of teaching students with different learning styles and constructive learning, where students are required to interact with their environment and not passively receive information. The Assure model is an instructional system design that analyzes the learners before designing in order to provide effective instructions. So related to bilingualism and second language teaching, Assure model provides an instructional design that can create an interesting learning environment for the students to see the change of behavior in terms of the mastery of both languages. The following is the instructional design of bilingualism with the Assure model, as you can see on the slides. All right, next I will pass it to the second speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Sobri. I will continue with the objective, the planning and the implementation and strategy of this model. So this model is aimed to produce students who are able to understand and describe the human nervous system by using the first language and the second language by the end of the topic. So in planning the model, we discussed about, next slide please. In designing, thank you very much. In planning the model, we will discuss about the content and activities in implementing this model. So we look at 3 main elements, which are the speaking skills, presentation skills, and the lesson itself. So the language skills, which is covered here, is speaking skills. And the sub-skill covered is the presentation skill. For each activity, there are group discussion, problem solving, and interactive discussion involved in the lesson. The activities are chosen to create a supportive learning environment so that the student will not hesitate to participate in the classroom activities. So there are a lot of interaction between students. One of the teaching approach that we suggest to use is the CLIL, which is the Content Language Integrated Learning. The term CLIL was coined by David March in 1994, who mentioned that CLIL refers to a situation where subjects or parts of subjects are taught through a foreign language with dual focus aims, namely the learning of content and the simultaneous learning of a foreign language. So the learning of the content is supported by language, and here we use the first language and the second language. Moving on to the next slide, we are going to move on to the implementation of the model. But in this part, we will discuss on how the model will be carried out based on the duration and the participants. So this model can be used for all subjects, but for the purpose of this group presentation, we focus it on the science subject for Form 4 students who are 14 years old students at SMK Bandar. And the topic that we choose is a human nervous system, which is one of the topic in the science Form 4 syllabus. The duration for this topic is for about 2 weeks, and there are 30 students who are involved in this program.
Okay, let me continue. With analyzed learners. The class consists of 30 students, mainly 20 girls and 10 boys. The students are generally participated in classes that are highly interactive, and the settings where the teacher uses role play, anchored learning, brainstorming, and guided discovery method. The female students portray a more business-like personnel as compared to boys that they tend to be more talkative and playful and obviously in need of extrinsic factor to keep them working. According to Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences theory, the students tend to be more visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learners. The aim of this lesson is to introduce students to the topic of human nervous system. Next. So these are the learning objectives or outcomes that we have gathered. So students should be able to first identify pulse in human nervous system. Second, they are able to state the function of every part of the nervous system. Third, they are able to identify neuron parts. Fourth, they are able to state the function of the parts in the neuron. And lastly, they are able to identify the types of neurons. Okay, next. So in this lesson, we have provided some instructional methods, medias, and materials. So as you can see, there are three materials that we use. First, tablet computers. All students have tablet computers with internet access and will complete various activities. Some students will be required to work in pairs if some tablet computers are faulty. As we all know, not all facilities are well taken care of. So these are the precautions that we have taken into accountability. Okay, second one, headphones. The students will be provided with headphones so that they could listen to the sounds throughout the videos. This will allow them to engage in their activities without disturbing others. The third one will be interactive whiteboard or smartboard. Teachers will use this whiteboard to introduce the activity to the class. I'm sure that this interactive whiteboard is available in the classroom since we are towards the 21st century learning. Okay, with that, next, Jen.
Okay, the next one is what the teacher should do. They should utilize the media and the materials. For the first one, preview the materials. Prior to the class that the teacher created the watching video, activity, and the human nervous system. The teacher will ensure that there is internet access and that all tablet computers are functioning properly, which will aid in the effectiveness of the delivery of the lesson. And then have to prepare the materials where the teacher should select video before the lesson. They should prepare a more appropriate video for the students, and the video chosen are in English. Teacher's explanation is in Bahasa Malaysia, is for enhancing the students' understanding for the topic. And then prepare the environment. The teacher will arrange the seats to mix students' ability in second language. Students will maintain in their groups for the remainder of the lesson. Next, utilize the media and materials for the learners. Prepare the learners where the students are allowed to discuss with their group members while they're watching the video. They are encouraged to speak using both language, L1 and L2. Provide the learning experience, which is the teaching strategies that will be used are guided discovery and anchored learning. Students will be encouraged to explore and discover the content required for the activities, whereby the teacher will supervise and move around the classroom, providing assistance, if necessary, to groups that require further explanation. The interactive whiteboard will also be used to provide further explanation to groups experiencing difficulties. Okay. Require learner participation, where the students will be divided into groups. It will encourage them to work in group of threes. The group will be allowed to navigate through the site in order to familiarize themselves with the task, after which they will be allowed to commence the activity using their L1 and L2. And the next one is evaluate and revise. To evaluate the students' knowledge on the topic, the students will be evaluated based on the classroom participation. And at the same time, they are required to present the group where based on the task given. The presentation should be carried out equally using L1 and L2. Next.
Okay, so next, I'm going to talking about the assessment. Okay, I'm Young. So in order to test whether our program is effective or not, we are going to assess our students on their presentation skills with the presentations rubric, whereby we adapted it from the website. And then before the uh, implementation of the program, we did assess our students, okay, based on the same rubric as well, to see whether the program is effective or not. Let's look at the rubric. Please share the rubric. Okay. Okay. So when we look at the rubric, okay, so the rubric is divided into the few categories, okay, whereby we actually categorize it under exemplary, satisfactory, unsatisfactory, and the last one is poor. And for the category of the contents, the criteria that we use to assess our students, we are going to assess them from the aspect of content. Okay, so comprehension, preparedness, collaboration with peers, listens to other presentations, stage presence, postures, and eye contact. And the last one will be the visual acts. So for this part, okay, for the rubric part, I will take one example. For example, when we evaluate students on the contents, okay, so if students are able to show a full understanding of the topic, they will get 4 marks. And for those who show a good understanding of the topic, they were awarded 3. And then following by unsatisfactory 2, and the last one is poor with 1 marks. So for this one, actually we are not really focusing on the students language, because we are looking at the first language and the second language. So more marks will be the more emphasis will be on the students contents comprehension, okay, whether they are able to have a teamwork together with their friends and so on. Okay, so this is the rubric that we use to evaluate our students, okay, on the understanding of the topic. Next. Okay, next we are looking, okay, we are looking at the impact of the model. Yeah, okay. So the impact of the model, okay, there are 4. Okay, we can say that the model aims at the solution of the problems of bilingual teaching using the technology effectively and systematizing preparing steps of a lesson plan. So when viewed from this aspect, carrying out an education based on a sure model focusing on the students and technology rather than traditional education is a need rather than an obligation. Example, lesson plans given before can be updated according to the students' grades and also the lesson. So the important things in this stage is teachers applying the process steps in the model selflessly. So this model helps to increase the learner's understanding in the subject matter. At the same time, it promotes in enhancing the proficiency level of their first language and the second language. Okay, the last one will be our conclusion. So this model is hope to achieve proficiency and the mastery of first language and second language through a specific subject matter by modeling the actual model of classroom instructional. And we hope that also this program will be adapted by the others teachers, okay, to implement this in their teaching and learning in the first language and second language in the school. So that's all from me. Thank you.
All right, that's all from us. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.